The morning began quietly in Team Z's dorm. Over breakfast in the cafeteria, Shinya made a suggestion that surprised no one. Let's spend our last day before the first match in the gym. If you want to stand a chance, we need to use every second we have. The group agreed, and after finishing their meal, they walked into Inazuma Lock's massive fitness facility. The atmosphere was already electric. Dozens of players trained intensely, each one eager to gain any advantage before the games began. But what truly caught everyone's attention was the boxing ring at the center of the gym. Two athletes were clashing inside, their blows echoing like thunder. They both were wearing the same jersey now, but Hikaru recognized them. One was a player of Ancient Dark in the past, and the other of Unlimited Shining. Their fists carried the weight of past rivalries, and the crowd couldn't look away. Renkai, Naoki, and Hikaru were the first to start their own training session. Together they hit the training stations, focusing on strengthening their legs with heavy kick drills. Sweat poured, muscles burned, but none of them slowed down. Each rep was a silent challenge to the others. Shinya meanwhile wandered towards a mechanical punching bag. With the press of a button, the bag lunged forward in unpredictable angles, forcing him to react, catch, and hold it still. His goalkeeper instincts sharpened with every dive and grab. Alexander, however, walked in a different direction first. He headed straight for Nikaido's office. His question was blunt. Coach, is there more behind this project than just building new teams for the G3 League? Could it be that the league itself is in danger? Nikaido hesitated for a moment and then answered calmly. The league will not disappear no matter what happens here. But yes, there is a greater reason why this project began, now of all times. Still, focus on your first matches before you worry about the future of Inazuma Lock, okay? Alexander accepted those words with a quiet nod. Afterwards he too returned to the gym floor, building his strength with defensive drills. When the team finally regrouped, Hikaru found his eyes drifting back to the boxing ring, and this time he called out to his ex-teammate, just in time to see the final exchange as well. Kazuya, once an Unlimited Shining and Team Zero player, landed a sharp blow against Tsuyoshi, the former Ancient Dark player. Spotting Hikaru, Kazuya smirked and introduced himself alongside Tsuyoshi. Hikaru, is that really you? The big muscular man walked to the edge of the ring and looked Hikaru up and down. You grew! So I guess you also got invited to this project. What team are you in? Hikaru looked at the players that were now his teammates, for just a moment, before he sighed. I got assigned to Team Z. He didn't add his thought that it had to be some kind of mistake, or something was wrong with his entire project. Kazuya laughed and Tsuyoshi grinned. Then the ex-Unlimited Shining player answered again. We are a part of Team A, so I guess that makes us the goal you guys have to reach in the end to be the strongest in this project. Declaring themselves as the peak, it was both a taunt but also a challenge to Hikaru and his allies. Oh yeah, another Team Zero member also made it into Team A, but I guess I'm the only other member of Unlimited Shining in it. Both of the birdie defenders got out of the box ring, and Kazuya turned around to look at Hikaru one last time. Oh, and Hikaru, did you hear about Hakuryu after we left Eden? That name instantly made the blonde player attentive, and he responded, No, we haven't stayed in contact. Kazuya laughed again. Yeah, that's just like him. Well, after graduating high school, he immediately got scouted by the Italian powerhouse Holy Roma for the Classic Football League. Apparently the people over there are already calling him the Holy Dragon or something. That's gonna push his ego even higher into the heavens. Hikaru clenched his fists at the thought. The gap between them still felt enormous. It always had. But instead of discouragement, it lit a fire inside of him. He has every right to have a big ego. It is Hakuryu after all. Both sides agreed on that, and their farewell was simple, a promise to face each other on the field someday. In an outside area of the gym, Alexander had his own encounter. He found himself watching a lone player running tirelessly on a treadmill, Kita Ichiban, once the captain of Tengawara. Alexander almost provoked a fight, but Renkai stepped in before it could escalate, insisting that such matters should be settled on the pitch instead. Kita's jersey revealed his new allegiance, Team E, so he was also a part of the first and top group of the Inazuma Lock project. The handshake between Kita and Renkai was firm, but filled with unspoken rivalry. The rest of the day passed with showers, strategy talks, and silent anticipation. And then the dawn of the match arrived. On Field 2, the atmosphere was sharp enough to cut. Team Z walked in from one side, Team X from the other. Cameras streamed the moment for the eager online audience. Hikaru and Oreo stepped up for the coin toss, but Renkai's voice cut through before the machine could even flip it. Don't bother, just give them the ball. I'll take it back right away. Hikaru smirked, agreeing instantly. The taunt wounded Doha's pride, and the towering striker shoved Renkai aside with a snarl, but Team Z's forward didn't even bother giving him a reaction.
Arrogant brats. Aru, give me the ball and I'll crush him.
The whistle blew. The first possession belonged to Team X, but their plan crumbled instantly. Doha charged, only to be stonewalled by Renkai, who ripped the ball from his feet and towered over him. "Didn't I tell you?" Renkai talked down to Doha. "I said I would get the ball back right this instant. And see what I did." The game unfolded in a whirlwind. A quick pass from Renkai back to Hikaru, and he swiftly moved along the sideline, Opal chasing desperately behind him. To Hikaru, the sliding tackle attempt came in slow motion. He skipped past it with ease, laughing as he did. "You'll have to try harder than that." As that was happening, Naoki drifted to the right, crossing Hikaru's path as he moved towards the center of the goal area. Nunobe had to make a decision, and he went for the mark on Naoki. Meanwhile, Renkai slipped unnoticed to the far post. Hikaru's vision pierced through the chaos, threading an impossible pass past Nunobe right to Renkai's foot. While all of that was happening, Alexander remained on their side of the field, guarding both Aru and Doha, not allowing the attacking players to return to help out in the defense or to position themselves freely for a counterattack. Even Aru's sprint attempt when he finally got past the defender couldn't reach the red-headed striker of Team Z in time. Renkai's strike was pure fire, but Oryo Mihoshi, the keeper of Team X, roared his challenge. With his Hisasu technique, Rapid Whip, he unleashed a flurry of punches, driving the ball back into play, but not without feeling the heat of the shot through his gloves. The rebound, however, fell towards Renkai once again. Oryo tried to clear, sprinting forward, but the striker braced himself and stripped the ball clean. Naoki blocked the path of Nunobe once more, removing him completely from the equation and stranding the goalkeeper alone and helpless on an island. With the goal wide open, Renkai simply tapped it in. 1-0, Team Z took the lead. Hikaru and Renkai high-fived each other, their laughter echoing as Opal fumed in silence. The second kickoff brought fury and fire as Doha charged again, powered by rage. This time, he managed to get past Renkai, his motivation to prove himself and regain some sort of reputation, pushing him further. However, when he dribbled deeper into the half of Team Z, closely followed by Aru, the two defensive players came in their line of sight. Alexander stood firm and Hikaru assisted him. Shoulder to shoulder, the defenders denied him quickly, and in a 2 versus 2, they claimed the ball. Hikaru had kept Aru out of the situation, and Alexander blocked Doha with ease. On the other side of the pitch, Opal attempted to mark Renkai, even attempting to taunt him. "Don't think you are all that just because you scored 1 goal." Renkai just snickered in response, not taking a small man seriously in the slightest. "You better stay quiet, or should I get Hikaru again to teach you another lesson?" A swift counter began with a pass to the side to Naoki. Naoki and Hikaru moving as one, their passes sharp, their chemistry undeniable. The flow of the match had changed quickly, and now Team Z was on the attack once more, getting into the half of Team X before they could even react. Just like before, Alexander made it harder for Aru and Doha to return to their half, and the other interaction on the pitch was Renkai being marked by Opal, finally. Well, at least for a tiny moment, as the Fire Striker instantly found the chance to lose the midfielder and position himself freely again. Naoki passed the ball to Hikaru, who was standing in the middle circle at the moment. They exchanged glances, and that was enough for them to communicate the next steps to their counter. Synergies were already forming, even though they had barely known each other for a week now. The attack continued. Nunobe guarded the center of the goal area, ignoring that Renkai was walking towards the deep end of the goal. He trusted his teammate Opal would get there in time to stop any attack. Hikaru casually proceeded forward, right towards the middle of the goal, and Naoki went to the outside line opposite of Renkai. To start off this step, the X-Team Zero player passed the ball down to Naoki again, and then positioned himself at the center, directly confronting and pulling in Nunobe. Nunobe's trust in Opal, however, was misplaced, as he once again failed to mark Renkai, leaving the striker open and ready to receive another delicious pass. Naoki slowly moved along with the ball until a shine in his eyes could be seen. He was certain his plan would work out, but it also relied on the skill of his teammates. His pass flew towards Hikaru, who was tightly guarded by Nunobe. But what is a guard of that level to a player who dreams of standing beside a dragon? A swift sidestep and a jump into the air to directly send a pass further along. The sequence ended with Hikaru slipping the ball perfectly to Renkai, who launched himself into the air. His header paired with his fiery scream slammed into the net with unstoppable force. Oryo could only watch. 2-0, Team Z was only one more goal away from winning their first match in this project. Oryo pounded the turf, frustrated by himself. He was always on the bench while he was at Tengawara, both in the junior high team and the high school team, so he thought this could have finally been the moment for him to prove himself. Renkai smirked. He still needed to add insult to the injury. "Next time, I'll give you a chance." Team Z returned to their side, and Team X adjusted their strategy one last time, rallying in desperation. Aru, Opal and Doha pressed forward into the half of Team Z as a trio. Trusting in his teammates, Renkai first started making his way deeper into the opposing half. Alexander and Hikaru stood ready for another defensive maneuver. Seeing his opponents the closest to his goal in the match so far, Shinya walked to the side of the goalpost and knocked his shoes against it to clean them a bit. "Guys, it's kinda getting boring back here," he laughed. Without turning around, Hikaru just answered to his goalkeeper. "Unlucky, but I told you, there are only weaklings here." As a pack of 3, the Team X players continued on until they finally got contested by Hikaru and Alexander. Just to make sure, Naoki also moved a bit further into the center. With fast reactions, Aru and Opal wanted to block the defenders so that Doha could charge through and get into a shooting position, but Alexander stood strong. Hikaru's assistance allowed him to get into a 1 vs 1 against Doha, and the fire forward of Team X lost the duel mercilessly. The ball conquered once again, and just like the last time, Alexander passed the ball to the glasses-wearing player, and Naoki led the charge forward. This time, their attack was a masterpiece. First, Renkai, Alexander and Naoki gathered in the middle circle, while Hikaru had already moved to the outside line. Opal attempted to keep up with them, but after having been brought down just a bit earlier, he struggled bringing his body up again. From the center, Naoki sent in the ball out to Hikaru. Alexander remained in the center, blocking Opal once again from chasing further. As a pair, Naoki and Hikaru moved along the right side, and Renkai pushed forward on the left. Hikaru drew the defense to himself in the center. Naoki sprinted down the flank, and Renkai lurked in the shadows. Nunebe was left by himself again, and he chose to guard Hikaru one more time, as all the assists came from him. And from Team X's research, they also determined that he was the biggest threat because of his background. When the ball came to Hikaru again, he proved that fact right, as he quickly and precisely extended a pass towards Renkai. Even with all his power, Nunebe barely managed to graze the ball, but it still ended up in Renkai's foot. A shot that sounded like cannon fire flew towards Oryo Mihoshi, and he cleared the ball with a punch, but the exhaustion was written clearly on his face. The ball dropped to Naoki, and for a moment the goalkeeper thought about dashing for it, but the moment of the very first goal of the match remained strong in his memory, so he decided to remain on the line. Nunebe was there yet again in an attempt to block Naoki, but a quick 1-2 between Hikaru and him left Nunebe in the dust. Naoki planted one foot firmly into the ground and aimed his shot precisely. Using his remaining power, Oryo jumped towards the ball and cleared it towards the center with another punch, hoping Nunebe could pick it up and clear it further away. However, despair settled in his face quickly as Hikaru came to the ball first. The triple threat of Hikaru, Naoki and Renkai stood before the player who normally sat on the bench, and only now did all the remaining players of Team X start to sprint back to defend. Aru, Opal and also the ace, Doha, were running as fast as they could, but Hikaru had already shot. Trying to imitate his idol, the shot came fast and dangerous, but with a yell to push himself beyond his limits, Oryo cleared even that attempt, but this time the ball fell right into the foot of Renkai. And despite another desperate jump from Oryo, it was too late. Renkai's roar shook the field as he hammered home his third goal of the day and also the deciding goal. 3-0, hat-trick, game over. MVP, Renkai Hinokami. The whistle blew. Team Z had dominated without allowing a single shot of the opposing team. Shinya finally jogged out of his goal with a grin, picking up the ball from the goal of the enemies. "That's my first ball contact of the match." Renkai chuckled. "If you want some action next time, I can shoot at our own goal." Even as they celebrated, Shinya voiced the question on his mind. "This system must be flawed. Why are we Team Z if we can crush Team X so easily?" Before he could think more, Gojo's voice thundered over the speakers. "Match over! Team Z wins! 3-0! Team X, if this is all you can do, you might as well go home now." Team X left broken. Doha stomped angrily towards the showers, the weight of defeat heavy on his back. He felt responsible for it. But for Team Z, the taste of victory was sweet. Their trash talk had turned outward, their rivalry shifting from each other to the rest of the league. Their journey had only just begun, but their first step was undeniable. Team Z had arrived in Inazuma Lock.